And welcome, everyone. We are live in episode 165 of umbraCoffee, and I'm joined today by wonderful Emma Burstow. Hello, Emma. How are you?
Hello, Marcin. I'm good. I'm glad to be here, and it's lovely to see you. It's been ever so long.
Yes, we were discussing before going live that it was not that far away in time that when we were sitting in Warsaw and discussing what's next in our life plans and stuff like that.
Yes.
But it was a long time ago, and I missed one, and I missed one of the umbraCoffees when I was away, and you've been joining Callum with Carol, if I remember correctly. And today you might have noticed that Callum is away. He has taken a day off because today is his birthday, so we can probably use this opportunity to not sing but wish him a very good day and everything, and have a good rest, mate. Get back with energy and have a wonderful day. Happy birthday, Callum.
Happy birthday, Callum. That rolled around quickly. I remember his last birthday.
Yeah, time flies.
Time flies, and he'll be an old man before we know it, won't he?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Emma, thanks for joining me today. We have a lot of great things to share, but we can probably start from the announcement which we were highlighting a couple of weeks ago, which was your new role as an Umbraco developers advocate. Can you tell us more about this? Because today also it was shared that Warren officially joined this team. It was kind of spoken in between of the lines, but right now it's official. There is a blog post about it, but you are here, so you can tell us more about this role, about responsibilities, plans, I don't know, unwritten things in front of you too right now.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, we do have Warren now, which is just insanely exciting for me. So we're a pair of avocados, or as I'm trying to coin it, umbravocados. Do you think that could work? Umbravocados? Yeah, we can work with that. Umbravocados. So the role is quite new. I mean, like basically entirely new. We've never had a developer advocate for the British Isles before, which is one of my job titles. And we're hoping that it's going to work in such a way that I'll be able to build bridges between HQ and the community, you know, getting partners more involved in the community, finding new contributors, you know, all the stuff that I love doing in the community. And now it's part of my role.
It is more next to the role which is the pure partners, like agency partners gathering. It's more focused on open source contributions, developers, and
absolutely,
and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's why it's totally new, right?
We want more community engagement, and that's basically it. We have loads of community engagement, but it's great to meet more people. Like, the bigger our pond, when you're an open source project, the more people you can reach, the more interesting your product becomes. So it's definitely our aim.
Yeah,
and we have Warren on screen.
Yeah, exactly. That's why because I remember some of the discussions on Twitter that Warren was doing a great hacking time next to his involvement and job at the HQ, and everyone was asking Warren, just do more hacking, more discussions and stuff like that. And I think it's like the change which is also connected to this role, because I don't know how about you, but I remember Microsoft advocates, developers advocates, and stuff like that. They were doing a lot of great stuff. They were presenting, they were hacking, gathering some inputs from the Microsoft as well in this case, but also community and maybe some crazy stuff which developers can do, and they were shortening this path for developers to make them happen and make them live. Is this also a plan for you both right now?
It's a huge part of the plan, actually. I think so Warren and I have similar aims, but kind of different fields as well. So where Warren's going to be building and hacking and playing, and of course he's spent years working at HQ. He knows the project super well. A lot of my job will be focused around working with community members, making pull requests, but also the issue tracker and so on, and just increasing engagement in those areas. And it's a nice crossover too, because my job's in two halves. So I'll spend half the week working on the issue tracker, and then half the week working with people in various different ways. My time spent in the pull request team has kind of been a great, almost like entry point, because
you were also able to get know the product very well by testing, merging, reviewing pull requests, and then that's an amazing transfer, I think, and an extension of the role, and exciting.
The issues are interesting as well, because it means that whilst as a developer advocate, it's really important to stay in touch with the product, and it's really important to still, like, developer is part of the title. It's not, it's not about speaking to people. It's still about building. It's still about the tech, and time spent on the issue tracker keeps me, like, up to my elbows in the tech, building prototypes, and what's this developer trying to do? Well, I need to try and do it too, and see if there's any way that we can get this working. And it's great. It's like it's a great mix.
Yeah, exactly. As a developer, also as a community member, I'm really looking forward for all of the outputs of your work there as this new role. And congrats for Warren, for you on building this new kind of role, because as Kim or someone else was saying, that it's just the beginning, because if it will be working for everyone, that's a room for more advocates, for more initiatives like that, and of course if it will be helping for HQ and community, why not to expand that. So keep us updated with all of the efforts which you've been taking, because Emma, you've been doing a lot of great other stuff as well recently. Yesterday we've been bumped on Twitter that you've been participating in and running the talk. What was the name of that? It was
contributing to open source in 2021.
But it was Table Talk. That was the name of the segment, right? Yeah. How was it? Because you are doing a great job in advocating Umbraco across the Microsoft events as well.
It's nice to see Umbraco represented at Ignite, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great to be there.
You were joined by Carol, Lottie,
and Laura.
And
Laura. And we submitted a table talk for Ignite just to talk about the experience of being a contributor. Table talks are an interesting format too, because you go along to a host, you don't create slides, and then you engage with your audience and see what they want to know. So you can't really prepare. You kind of, we classed the last year as our preparation. We've been meeting every few weeks to talk about the experience of being an open source contributor. And it was a really interesting day. I could not have predicted some of the things that came up. By and large, the attendees were from outside the Umbraco community. So It was lovely to meet contributors and to other open source projects, other open source maintainers, people with concerns around, whether they should even make the choice to become open source.
It's interesting. It's interesting for me because I was doing some talks in the past on various events about open source, and it's always someone who don't know that this is the way of being involved into the software in general, and even on Microsoft events, which Microsoft is of course one of the biggest contributor to open source recently. It's like it's a surprise for someone. That's why it's worth advocating. It's worth sharing always. So great. Was it recorded? Is it somewhere? Is it going to
Table talks aren't recorded, so you'll have to take my word for it that it was fabulous. It was fabulous.
I trust you. I've seen some great tweets and great feedback from not only Umbraco community members, but that's interesting, and I believe that there will be more participations like that from your side.
I hope so. Yeah, it's always interesting to come outside of our lovely Umbraco bubble. We're a friendly community. Like, it's a great place to get started and to grow up as a speaker. And then when you step outside into the wider world, it can be scary, but it was a fantastic experience. So less scary now.
But it is also a great segue to another topic which we want to mention. You've mentioned that it's scary for some, even for experienced speakers, and there is a new initiative, not that new initiative, but the new edition or a new version of the Speakers Academy, which you are involved in as well. And there was a first meeting this week organized. When was it? Wednesday or? It
was on Tuesday.
Tuesday. And there are two more, today and tomorrow. Can you tell us more about it?
Sure, yeah.
How was the first one?
Oh, the first one was fantastic. It was an awful lot of fun. We have, so in the Umbraco community, we've been talking for so long about how to help people become speakers. Yourself, myself, I mean, lots of the experienced speakers have made themselves available to people who are interested. Perhaps we can help with bios, perhaps we can help with presentation skills, etc., etc. And what we were looking to do at HQ is create something that really formalizes that process, that recognizes that there's a desire to have it from the community, and then provides the resources. And this is a long-term project, but I was given some ownership of it when I arrived at HQ in my first week, and I was like, well, it's great that it's long-term, but we're going to need to do something now because the Code Garden CFP is open.
Yeah, it was a great combination with call for proposals and here you are there and everyone is there to help on shaping
a deadline
the proposals.
Is very motivating, and it's actually, it hasn't come from me. In the week that I was looking at this, I had community members reach out and say, oh, I remember you did a workshop around finding a talk topic. Could you share with me the slides? And have you considered doing something like this? And I was like, oh, great ideas. We have considered all of this. Let's bring it together. And Carol, who is just endlessly generous with her time and energy, offered to come on board, and we decided that we'd run something together. Both of us took part in Global CFP Day. And I think I've spoken about that on this before.
Yes, that was mentioned definitely.
A fantastic initiative that aims to give people an opportunity to learn the skills to become a speaker at no cost, and it's all over the world, people volunteering their time. And we were both mentors up in Glasgow about 3 years ago, but it might not be 3 because time makes no sense anymore to anyone. But it was before, is what I'll call it.
Definitely before. Pre-COVID era.
That's it. And so we ran something then, and we decided to look at how we could make it applicable to this particular CFP. And that's our aim for this week.
Yeah, I remember discussions about it for ages as well. And even today or yesterday, when I looked at my to-do list where I have the sent proposal or proposals for Code Garden, it's like something, let's maybe discuss some topics with the community, or just gather, because if you have 5 people or 10 people who can share your feedback immediately, it's like tons or hours of self tries of getting rid of some maybe bad ideas or maybe shaping better ideas. It's like exactly for what it's created. And as let's say experienced speaker, I can say that it's never enough of feedback like that, and we are always looking for feedback like that. If someone even didn't start speaking, it's also great because the people benefit from each other despite of the fact of being more or less experienced or not experienced at all speaker, because everyone started somewhere.
Definitely. And that collaboration is what we want more of too. I love that you called yourself a kind of experienced speaker. You're a very experienced speaker, Marcin. And
I'm still learning. That's the thing. I've been participating in 2 online courses this year about public speaking, and it's amazing how many things we don't know or how many things we are not even thinking about when you are thinking more about what you are doing. So and interesting is, like, when I started, I wasn't thinking about anything like that. It was like, I want to share my knowledge, I want to share something, and I prepared it and shared it, and that was how it was done. And right now it's more of the details and things like that, which still are important, but it's not required to start. And still there are people. One of my things and thoughts which I'm sharing all the time is, like, there is always someone who is one step behind us, and they can benefit from what we've done today, even if it's just opening or installing Visual Studio, because that's something what someone didn't do and wants to do today. I think it's worth again mentioning when it's happening, how it's happening, and everyone can join, because the first meeting is today, right? It's today on 12:30 UK.
Yes, so the next one is today, right after umbraCoffee. So if you're here, you might as well just click over and come and join us. And we're looking for people to join us who are experienced speakers, inexperienced speakers, people who are speaker curious, like just, maybe I could, maybe I might, there's no, if you attend, we're not going to chase you and say, where's this talk? You have to give it now, but we'd love to see you there. And I think, Marcin, I'm going to quote you. I might add you to my slides, because I like this idea that there's always someone just behind us. We've always got something to share. And the session is designed to kind of bring out the things you might want to share. So the first session is looking at any ideas you might have knocking around. I have had complaints about the last session somebody came along with 9 ideas and left with 13, which is too many ideas. So these are the complaints we want to have.
Good complaints to have, to be honest.
Yeah,
and second one is tomorrow, right?
The second one's tomorrow morning. We aimed to put the sessions on at such a time that anybody can join us. We know that, you know, not everyone can do evening meetups. Perhaps you have to put the kids to bed. Perhaps you work, you know, different hours to us. Perhaps you're in another time zone. We'd love to see you. We don't have many people for tomorrow morning, but we're holding it anyway. Just me, Carol, and Joe at the minute. So anyone
maybe, and hopefully after maybe this discussion, some people will decide to join. And outside of the working hours, that's probably more available, as you've said, for people who are maybe unavailable because of some meetings or responsibilities at work. We will link it up down below in the description. The time there is a gateway error on meetup.com right now. I can't share it, so I will link it up. Maybe the people from umbraCoffee just wanted right now to visit it all, and we've pumped.
It's just a rush,
DDoSed meetup.com. Hopefully, but yeah, it will be shared down below in the description of the video after the umbraCoffee. So feel free to join, and meetup.com is the way where you can look for it. Cool. That's a great set of initiatives, and everyone is welcome, as you've said. Another calls for contributions were mentioned this week as well. And today there was new RFC shared by Umbraco HQ and Niels, who is the person responsible for combining it all together from the UI and UX perspective. And it's a call for all front-end and package developers and everyone who is interested in building back office or back office build itself. And it's called UI Component Library Rfc. And the RFC is on GitHub, of course, in the RFC's section and project on Umbraco organization. And there is a lot of discussions already happening. Callum, you're supposed to be away today. And he commented 26 minutes ago. Oh, damn. That's one. But yeah, the discussion is here, and I don't know, Emma, how about you? But I loved the addition with this video, and videos are my favorite thing of consumption of the content. And Niels recorded a great video highlighting what the component library is right now, what it might be in the future, and I was even surprised how well shaped it is at the moment, because when I was building the packages or when I was building the back office sections or components, I was always reusing what's there, or I was always reusing what other package creators created. And having a library like that is like such a great thing to just work on UIs, to build UIs which are looking like native Umbraco components, because that's for what it's created, one of the purposes of it, and the discussion is open because it still refers way back to the discussion on reshaping or rebuilding the back office, and UI library component was one of the steps to be made to make it all happen, make it all standardized, to pick the right tools, frameworks, and technologies behind it. And right now it's open discussion on how it can look, how it can benefit for package creators and everyone using Umbraco. Did you know that this exists in general, Emma, by the way?
Well, I knew it was in the making, and then I watched the video this morning. I didn't know that it was quite this fancy and finished. It's looking fantastic. I love that, you know, this is a push for consistency. When you're building using a component from a library, it's going to behave the way that the rest of the back office will behave. It's going to look the way the rest of the back office will look. It's just a gift for package developers. I'd love to hear what people have to say about it, actually. And yay, Niels, for putting a video out there, because it was 12 minutes of my morning instead of having a tab open for a while where I'm going to keep clicking and then get distracted. So, and you can speed it up and even watch it faster than 12 minutes.
Exactly. That's my pro tip of listening to the podcasts and videos. But here you can exactly see what it is, how it works, and for what can be used. And again, it would be such a great addition and speed up for package making and dashboards making. So yeah, fingers crossed for this discussion. And I already shared it with my front-end team. and design team to be involved in the discussion. And I think we can also use this space to, again, ask people to contribute, because we might be a back-end developers, we might be a full-stack Umbraco developers, but there is always a front-end team, there is always a design team, and they are working with us somehow in some cases, and they can help. They can share what are their requirements, maybe when they are building client work based on the Umbraco back office, and that's exactly for what this discussion is. And we cannot complain if we were not sharing our thoughts. That's the thing for RFCs, I think.
Should we make a sign?
Special banner. License policy. Don't complain if you were not involved. So RFC link will be also down below. It's also published on Twitter and Umbraco channels. So feel free to participate and share your thoughts about it, because that's the way to contribute as well, without being too much involved. And one more thing, which was also shared from Umbraco side this week, which was very important for, I think, a lot of teams. It was announcement about the general support, long-time support, and end of lives for various versions of Umbraco. And it's a great long blog post written by Philip, highlighting all of the strategies and some improvements and some possibilities of releasing new versions of Umbraco and how it can be organized. And of course, it relates great with all of the standardized cycles of the releases being planned for Umbraco, and answers some of the questions which a lot of us had. So when the lifetime support will be ended for specific Umbraco versions, and it's also highlighting what versions of Umbraco, what versions of .NET will be supported for specific Umbraco versions. So yeah, I think it's a great, and it's great to know and be able to prepare for that, because we still have some projects on Umbraco 7 which might be just right now pushed forward to be rebuilt maybe in the long term, because of the end of life, for example, which is aimed to be September 2023. Great blog post. All of you can just take a look on that, because it all highlights the forms, deploys, and other Umbraco products, which are great. I would love to see more blog posts like that. It's right now. I think we were talking about it with Philip. You can probably also confirm, Emma, that having the small steps done before, like planned releases, specific releases cycles, it allows Umbraco to draw the bigger picture right now and have the lifetime like that, and that's amazing to
Definitely.
see.
It's a bookmarker of a blog post as well. There are dates in here that you're going to want to keep coming back to. Clients are going to ask about them. It's really nice to see it all there, just in print, to refer back to.
So yeah, fingers crossed for making it all on schedule, and everyone can prepare. And again, it's a great resource for all of us to just be involved and prepared. But package creators are the next set on our agenda today. They have their own release cycles, and one of the well-known package creator, Dave W, brought us a new package, and it was a long time since last Dave's package, and right now they've released a great package, in my personal opinion, which is the multi-language text box, which is delivering the inline multi-language additional process for the recent Umbraco. And I've seen, I don't know if you've seen discussions about it on Twitter, but it was also inspired by Vorto work from the past, and some other multilingual approaches. And of course, I believe it was driven also by a use case and a need to not switch by the default tree, by have all the languages exposed like that.
Yeah, so, I think that's one of those packages that's going to make life a lot easier for editors that are working with multilingual sites. Dave's fantastic for that sort of thing. There's always a use case.
And when I said I copied a lot of work by other package creators, Dave was one of always on top of the list of the people from which and from who I was copying stuff to. So big high five for Dave for sharing this work, and I believe there will be more things to come from Dave. So yeah, big kudos and thanks, Dave, for sharing. Richard Soderman also shared a small update of CMS Import with a lot of bug fixes. So everyone who is using CMS Import, great package for migrating stuff or just importing things to Umbraco in bulk operations. it got updated with some bug fixes. And Anders Bjerner from Skybrat released a new version of Skybrat Redirects package, which is also very popular. I personally use it a lot. And it has a new UI and UX enhancements with some improved accessibility. Again, it all connects to the big theme behind the scenes of the accessibility of improvements. Maybe it was driven by some accessibility course materials and things shared recently, but it's great to see improvements like that in packages, and especially in the packages popular like that. So kudos to Anders as well for sharing that.
Nice work, Anders.
Yeah, and Skybrat and Skybrat and Anders teams is always inspiration, and something personally from me. I was always inspired by their Essentials package. I don't know if you've seen that, Emma.
No.
It's a set of packages which their team is using for dealing with common stuff like common extensions, common constants, common enums, and stuff like that. And I mentioned it a while ago for my team, and I said that why we cannot extract whatever we are using across our projects and do the same. So we've done it, and this week we've shared Cogworks Essentials and Cogworks Umbraco Essentials, and the next release, which is planned for hopefully next week, is Cogworks Umbraco Vendor Essentials. So all of the stuff, all of the helpful methods and code which we are using for the projects, and they are shared across the projects right now, are open source and open for feedback as well, because that's why we've decided to share it. To invite people to review them, to maybe add something from their side, and also help us and help them. And if we can help them and they can help us in doing that, that's exactly what the purpose of this release is. So call to contribution again. And there was also a really nice update which I have open somewhere. Did you use Cloudflare, by the way, in any of your projects in the past?
No.
Emma? No.
Oh, not directly.
Yeah, I've started my public Umbraco career, if I can say that, with Umbraco Cloudflare Manager package, which I shared on Umbraco UK Festival in 2015. And there was another package called Umbraco Flare done by, I can't remember who, but it was by Scylla Group. But it was great package, well built, well shaped, a lot better than mine for sure. And right now, ProWorks team forked it and make it supported and improved for the recent Umbraco 7.15 version. And there was a lot of questions about support for Umbraco V8. So I believe that maybe it's not that much efforts required to make it work for V8. And I would love to see this package being ported to V8. So big high five for ProWorks for making it maintained again. And fingers crossed for maybe moving it to V8. And if you will need help, guys, shoot out and we will try to organize some help, hopefully from the community members as well.
It's a really good example, actually, of how open source can work inside of a community too. That somebody can fork a repository and just, start maintaining a product that they've a package that they've wanted to work with, and they can take that on board. And also with you sharing your essentials package, you put it out there so that other people can use it, but it's not completely altruistic because other people can also add to it and feedback on it. It's perfect,
That's
drives innovation.
These are the hopes of maintainers, that people will improve their work. It's and whenever we are talking about open source, it's like the first is the scare of sharing our work, because of course we are all making mistakes or writing spaghetti code sometimes, and we are not always proud of our work. So that's a scare first. Then it's a kind of cheer when someone is using it and benefit from that. And at the end result is like collaboration and party time, because everyone can benefit from that. So that's the beauty of it. Yeah, packages. Last but not least, probably one of them is Christian's new package. Christian also making us used to one release at least per week. This time is a version property editor, which might be helpful for managing versions of. In his case, it was a PDF's versions, for example, managed in Umbraco. So yeah, major, minor patch releases and stuff like that. Property editor made for these purposes. Done by Christian and released on Umbraco and hopefully NuGet as well. And that's from the packages. There is an event segment, and Emma, you've mentioned before going live that there is a London's meetup this Thursday.
I think there's one this Thursday.
I couldn't find it, so yeah.
Okay, maybe not.
maybe someone who is watching us, there is a Ravi and some
Ravi,
other.
Do we have a meetup on Thursday? You let me know.
We are just proving that it's live.
Yeah.
Ravi, tell us if there is a meetup in London. But I wanted to mention something because exactly 1 year ago, almost exactly, because on March 6th last year, we had a last Umbraco in-person event, which was Umbraco Spark. And we've been all participating in that. Yeah, there is a meetup, confirmed. So there is a meetup, London's meetup on Thursday. And coming back to the thread, so Umbraco Spark was last year, exactly 1 year ago, last Umbraco in-person conference. So nostalgic moment.
Yep.
But also Steve shared this week a really nice update that the Umbraco Spark website was ported and migrated to .NET Core Alpha 3 version. And
Wonderful.
Interesting thing, which I spotted, is it took only 3 hours with some ideas to make it quicker. So it seems like Alpha 3 is really going to the direction of being ready to host sites, complete sites with which Umbraco Spark website was and is still. And yeah, I believe that journey is like that. And of course, Steve is a member of .NET Core team, community team working on migration and rebuild. So I believe that they will also have some lessons learned and steps to be made, written somewhere to help us all going through this journey, because we will be doing that whenever Umbraco.
And everyone that takes that journey, the more you document, the more you talk about it, the better the final journey will become. We need to hear from people doing it. Yeah. So yay, Steve. Well done, Steve. That's
and everyone who's playing with everyone who's playing with Docker stuff, .NET Core stuff, all the alphas, please share your journeys, because not all of us can spend this time. Not all of us are going through that or feel brave enough to do that. But if you do, just share your journey, and we'll just learn from each other's journey. One more nostalgic moment, unfortunately. Which is again events related. A Code Cabin team informed this week that the 2021's edition is also cancelled, unfortunately, but it's totally understandable due to the circumstances right now. It's hard to plan anything, so we will stay strong. Everyone needs to stay strong. It will be over hopefully soon, and we will all get back to the events. But yeah, Code Cabin is cancelled this year as well. And yeah, that's last but not least on the event side, because there was a blog post shared this week as well, and it's about how Umbraco HQ can assist meetups organizers. And I remember some resources being on our already mentioned that meetups organizers can reach HQ, can ask for help. There was some swag being sent, of course, for physical events previously. So if anyone is thinking on starting meetup group, this week we don't have any meetup besides London's meetups, for example. But there were weeks when there were 2 or 3 or even 4 meetups the same week. If anyone wants to start a meetup group, feel free to read this blog post, reach out to Trina or anyone else who can redirect the questions and this needs to the proper HQ members, and you won't be left alone. And there were some meetups groups formed like that, right?
Yes, and speak to me. I'm the other person you can speak to too. The HQ are really committed to helping meetup organisers, and it's on my list of goals too, is to look at ways that we can improve the experience for meetup organisers. But I've seen some incredible ideas happening in the Umbraco community, just, organically. So the twinning of meetups I've really enjoyed. So you got Reading and Leeds, just like the festival, which is super cool. And I know Umbraco Cymru, which I might be pronouncing wrong, my Welsh is poor, is twinned too, because I believe it was actually the organiser of Umbra Cymru who came up with the idea to twin meetups. That's Sarah Howard. And I think that's fabulous, because it means that meetups can share resources, and they can share speakers, and they can share ideas, and collaboration is key, as with anything, keeping formats fresh. I went to a lunchtime meetup yesterday, a lunch and learn, which I really enjoyed, a short talk. And, I did eat my lunch. I took it quite literally. And I turned my camera off so that people didn't have to watch. But I ate my lunch while learning. It was fabulous.
I think that's a lot of new ways to attend meetups, and exactly, for example, if it's during the lunchtime, more people can participate because not so many people cannot do the outside office hours contributions because they have another things to be addressed then. But let's call to action. Let's leave call to action here that everyone who wants to start, there is never enough meetups and never enough opportunities to just exchange knowledge. So reach out to Emma or Trina or anyone else on HQ if you want to start Umbraco related meetup group and get some help with that. And there are other ways to contribute. And I personally, I'm a huge fan of this section on Umbraco website right now, on our Umbraco, which is Umbracians in Action. And Emma, I don't know. We can probably share some upcoming announcements.
Releases,
a new release there, which will be what it will be.
There'll be a candid contributions page coming soon too. Like maybe now, maybe in an hour. So
maybe I should refresh when we are live here.
I wonder what will happen.
But I think generally, of course, events are one of the things to share knowledge, but there is another ways, and this section highlights it ideally. The first subsection was about Script Magazine, about which we will be talking about soon. But this week's announcement was about Paul Seal's activities and his YouTube channel, which is extremely popular, extremely visited by people who are on the various levels of involvement in Umbraco development. And Paul created a lot of tutorials, videos and great materials for everyone recently, for example, about vendor implementations and other things like search in Umbraco V8. So that's a big and I think great highlight of Paul's work. We can probably use it to send another big high five for Rock Paul for doing that and keep them coming, because a lot of us benefit from it and used it to shorten our path to develop stuff.
Definitely, massive
there will
high
be more.
Five, Rock.
Yeah, and there will be more. There will be candid contributions and other initiatives. Jump there and feel inspired maybe on how you can contribute and how you can be involved. And we've mentioned Script. I don't know, Emma, how about you? But I haven't had time yet to read the articles from this week.
I have. I read Janae's article this week and was just moved by it. It was such an honest and frank account of what it means to be committed to your work and committed to your community, and where you can end up, actually, how hard it can be. Like today, before I came onto umbraCoffee, I actually looked at myself in the mirror. I thought, you look tired. I've got to see people, but you're tired, Emma. And I'm tired because I've been doing community work. I get so much from it, but of course it takes its toll. And Janae's article just sums it up beautifully. She's someone who does so much, as are the whole Script team. It's lovely to see a Script organizer writing too, having an article in there. But it's a must read for many. And I haven't read Christian Steinmeier's yet, unfortunately.
I need to read them too today as well, because it sounds like something what I really need right now. And we've been talking about it before going live, that the rest is such an important. That's why I took a whole week rest last week, and that's why I really like the fact that people like Callum and other community members who are such involved, and they are living exactly the heart and energy on the things which they are doing, and you are doing, for example, and all the rest of the great community members who are doing more than they're asked for in the most cases. That's tiring, and everyone should be aware of that it's not just passion driven, but sometimes it's exactly tiring, and we need to be all aware of that. So it sounds like a great story shared by Janae, and we need to talk about it, and I think that it's hard to say, but thanks to the pandemic, we hear more about it and we see more about it, because it's not a new topic that we can burn out, but right now it's more visible, maybe more exposed and more common. Let's change that and be open about it. And the first article is about speeding up Umbraco from Christian, and I'm also interested in this topic, so it was released this week, so everyone can read it. Feel free to jump on the Script.io and take a look and take a read. Great set of articles, and also highlights on Speakers Academy with all the exact dates. Nick, you
Nick
asked for the dates.
about these are that's the Greenwich Mean Time. Yes, that's right.
Yep. And set of blog posts highlighted from various writers and various community members. So yeah, take a look, support Script as usual, and just be involved. And last things on our list are blog posts, which some of them were also highlighted on Script, but there was a blog post also shared by Purnima this week about how to include a code samples command in TinyMC rich text editor toolbar, which is something what I've never done, to be honest.
No.
And it's great to see that it's possible, and that's a great tutorial on how to do it. So everyone can do it right now, no excuses. And thanks, Purnima, for sharing it. It's just exactly what is needed for doing it.
Yep.
Great blog post, straight to the point. And even if Callum is not here, I will take this responsibility, and I will raise Adolfi Appreciation Time banner.
The appreciation time.
Dennis, we've been saying it a couple of weeks in a row right now that Dennis is constantly keeping us busy and interested in reading some of the great blog posts, and he raised some couple great topics and discussions this week as well. One starting from bumping client dependency framework version, which came just in time because we had an issue in one of our projects, which was exactly caused by the not bumped version of the client dependency. And I think it's a great discussion, great topic to be made. And again, also we've made an effort this week to make it automatic on the DevOps pipelines, so we hopefully don't need to worry about it from now on. And I'm happy to probably spend some time to release how we've done it. But Dennis highlighted the importance of this topic, how it affects the websites, and how we can address that, and why it's such an important thing to use it in the production builds. So big appreciation for sharing this one. And 3 blog posts in a week. I don't know how Dennis is doing it, but the second one was about reading Umbraco logs using PowerShell for probably really power users. I don't have a courage to open PowerShell to read logs.
Nope.
But it is possible, and then it shows how to do it. And last but not least, very important topic, it's about user experiences and making love, not poor user experiences.
I saw the title of this. It made me want to click.
Clickbait.
Yeah.
But it reminded me about an aha moment during the Umbraco training, Umbraco fundamentals training, when I was attending it after a couple of years of doing Umbraco projects, and I've seen that how we can improve the user experience by changing colors or icons, just small things which are improving the user experience very much. And then is exactly addressed the same issues here, and shared how we can improve some of the small things in Umbraco back office which are making big changes in perception of Umbraco in general. Because I think that the most important thing here is, like, whenever we are, for example, jumping into someone else's projects, we are seeing how some people did something better or worse than us, or at least in this kind of comparison, and how we can improve general builds by small things. And here there was a really great shout out to Fedosia's talk about 10 tips to make your editor's life easier. One of the it's hard to say favorites, long-time favorites talks, but probably a totally different talk that we get used to on Code Gardens, and it started the whole movement of improving back office talks. And Fedosia also did the same talk in Polish Festival, and I still remember some key takeaways from this talk. So we will link it up.
UK Fest as well doing that one. Yeah, it was wonderful talk.
So if still there is anyone who didn't watch this talk and didn't attend the presentation done by Fedosia and Great Perplex team, link will be somewhere down below, and you can take a look there and implement this improvement to make an editor's life better your Umbraco builds. And that's all from our list of things to be mentioned today. Emma, anything to add from your side? Any more stuff to come? What we can expect from?
That in 15 minutes, I'm going to be showing people that they do have something to talk about. So come along, even if you think you don't and you want to spend your lunch hour. You can eat during, and you want to spend your lunch hour brainstorming and bringing ideas together. We will be there, myself and Carol, and tomorrow morning at 9:30 too. And yeah, that's it for now. I mean, watch this space. There's an awful lot to come.
We never know. There's no stops on our ways. So let's aim to inspire each other and get as much as we can from our initiatives. And again, big high five for all what you are doing right now, and keep us busy with a lot of great initiatives as you as I wanted to say developers advocate, same as you, Warren. I know you are watching us, and everyone else. Thank you for sharing your work, sharing your things to be done. As always, like, subscribe, do it, and share it with your colleagues and friends. And we'll see each other on the next Friday. So thank you, Emma, for joining us today. Everyone, have a lovely rest of the day and great weekend ahead, and see you next week. Bye bye.